What's up, guys? This is Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this, I want to talk about something very, very important involving the markets. I'm going to break down some big news that's coming out and how the charts are looking. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $2,000, you're guaranteed 30 in total. And the offer ends at the end of March. So, I just wanted to say that I'm not really too happy about this price action, at least for bulls, because of the fact that we are starting to show some signs of rejection. I wanted to see SPY hold above at least 558, then get back above 560 to have any chance of a bounce. But what's happening is we're testing our support at 555. We're barely holding on to it, and if it doesn't hold, there could be a bigger downside move. We had good data that came out, good looking jobs numbers, and also a good PPI report. We had a good CPI report, but none of that has been able to help the market bounce yet. We were trying to base, but I just want to say we're still looking kind of weak. So there's still going to be that risk of some downside. I want to give you guys a heads up about that. One of the reasons why is because of all this tariff talk. Like I said before, Donald Trump has been threatening 200% tariffs on some European products, such as like alcohol, beers, and the list goes on the EU. This is in result of them increasing tariffs on American whiskey. So it's just going back and forth. So we'll see how that goes. And then keep in mind that we have JP Morgan's chief economist saying that there's about a 40% chance we see a recession in 2025. So it's almost 50-50. So please be very mindful of that, despite what has also been said. And then, with the fact that Russia has not agreed to the ceasefire deal so far, it's not really good news. And then this news involving the government shutdown is also causing some fear for the markets because so far we have 1 day left and the Senates have been arguing a lot about this bill. We need a funding bill to pass by tomorrow to get signed by the US President Donald Trump. For that to pass to keep the government funded up until September. And what typically happens is they argue. Then at the last minute they end up passing it, but that does not necessarily mean that it's guaranteed every single time. Firstly, and then secondly, that does not mean the market's going to be expecting it like that. For now, the market's like a little bit more apprehensive. It's very nervous about this, especially with all the arguments going on with this and the fact that we are getting close to a government shutdown. However, if they manage to pass it last minute, that could save things and the market could see a big bounce, but we're still waiting to see when they finally do that. So, because they haven't done this yet, okay, keep in mind there's a lot of fear involving tariffs, the recession indicators, and then also a potential government shutdown unless they pass the bill by the end of the day on Friday. So, all that fear is causing the market to dip again. I want to say that SPY had this inverse head and shoulders on the 30 minutes time frame, but so far it's not really playing out. And we need to see it break 565 to really turn bullish. If we can't do that, this is going to likely continue to decline a bit. So I want to give you guys a warning about that. We could retest these lows at 552. If it doesn't hold, I think 550 is going to be our next big support. We'll have to see if that holds or not. So for now, in all honesty, SPY is looking weak. So I just want to give you guys a heads up about that, just to be prepared for another leg lower. I personally think that there is going to be a big uptrend coming in the future, but it may take a while for it to start. I don't think we're ready for that yet. There is still a bullish divergence developing on SPY, but we could dip lower. If that bullish divergence remains, then we could see a better bounce at least later on. But for the short term, this might be dipping a little bit more before we get a bigger bounce later. So keep that in mind. Watch 555. If that fails us, we could get closer to 552 all over again. On the QQQ, we had this inverse head and shoulders. We were trying to balance, and we're actually starting to, we're losing our right shoulder support. So we're going to be looking for this support zone between this 470 area, then 467. If that fails us, we're looking for a move down to like 465. I need to see this get back above 480 to really bounce. If we can't, we're going to likely continue to dip. So please keep that in mind, guys. There's still weakness on the QQQ, and there's going to be a risk of us dipping to 467. For the IWM, we're also making lower highs. We were not able to get back above 202, so we could be dipping closer to about this 198 area. If that fails us, we could be looking for 195. We were trying to bounce, but unfortunately, there's a big wick that formed on the 4-hour, and there's still some weakness here, so this could dip a little bit more. For ES, we're making lower highs right here. We're riding this trend line lower, so we haven't been able to bounce yet. I wanted to see this break past 56 50 to see some kind of rebound, but now we're getting closer to 55.50, which is a bad sign. So this could be continuing to dip to where this trend line is, to the lower 5500s. So please be careful. There is still weakness on the charts, no sign of a true bounce yet. So you have to be very patient. Could we see a big uptrend? Yes, I still think it's very possible as we have a bullish divergence trying to develop, but there's no sign of that uptrend yet. And for now, we could be dipping a bit more. On NQ, we were trying to balance. Unfortunately, even with all this good inflation data and etc., we were not able to get back above 19,600 yet. We actually rejected. So there's going to be a risk of the lower 19,000s, 19,200 and 19,000 flats. We'll see if we get a bounce near there, but for now, we're going to be looking for a little bit more downside. So just be careful at the time I'm recording this. Bitcoin was trying to form an inverse head and shoulders. We're still holding support. We're going to be looking to see how it holds at 80,000. If that fails us, we could retest 77,000 for a temporary decline. Nvidia is resilient. It was trying to bounce, but now we're in a range. If we lose 113, this could be looking for a bigger move down. That's our 20 EMA. If we break 117, we're looking for a bigger move up to about 120. We're in the middle for now. Tesla, however, is rejecting. We were trying to get back above 250. I said we have to hold that to be bullish. And if we had lost, I think I mentioned at 244, we'd be looking for a move down to about 235. Lo and behold, those levels were tested, and we have to see if 235 holds at this point. Otherwise, we can decline a bit more. So there's still some weakness on Tesla, so please be very mindful of that, guys. For now, there are still some bears stepping in. What else is bad for the markets is Apple's getting a sell-off after getting these downgrades from JP Morgan and also from Morgan Stanley. So we could be dipping to about 212 and then eventually 210. No sign of a bounce yet. Coin was trying to bounce. Now we're holding support around this 180 zone. If that fails us, we could be tipping towards 175. Amazon showing some weakness. I'm going to be looking at this 194 area. If that fails us, we could be tipping towards 192. Still looks kind of weak. Meta got a big rejection here. We could be tipping closer to about this 588 area. So we'll have to see if that holds. Watch 590 and 588 as we're looking a bit more bearish. Microsoft is rejecting. We could be tipping closer to about this 378 area. It was not able to get back above 384 to bounce. Google is trying to bounce and rejected off 169. It needs to get back above that to bounce. Otherwise, we're favoring 163 again. So we could be dipping lower, and then eventually 160 could come. The VIX was starting to dip to fill this gap, but now it's holding up. So we're going to be watching. Does it break back above 25 to see a temporary bounce, or does it lose 23 to start dipping more? For now, the market is dippy and the VIX is consolidating, so please be very careful. Anyways, I'm just here to give you guys the warnings that the market may dip even more. There's going to be a risk of more downside, so please be very careful. Could we see a big uptrend in the future? Yes, I think that's going to come later. But I don't think we're ready yet, so we have to be very, very unbiased nonetheless. So for now, look for some downside. I have to be very, very honest about that. But as time goes on, we're going to be looking to see where the market finally bases at. Watch and see if these lows get retested. So I'm just here to give you guys a warning about that we're invalidating the inverse head and shoulders. Anyways, have a good one, guys. I'll be back in a couple of hours for another update, and peace out.